This is a matchup between Port Dover and the Paris Titans. Off the draw back in the Paris zone. Picked up by 18, Adam McCallop down deep into the Paris zone. Flipped out by Braden Tyler. Cole Cassan's on that, back up in the middle, back up to McCallop for Port Dover. Around the net to Ben Randall. Randall chips out to Santos. He loses the puck, picked up by McCallop behind his own net here for the Port Dover Sailors, working up the wall. Picked off in the middle by 55 Jake Semiolis. Semiolis back to Siebert, and he ices the puck for the first stoppage in play. Coco steps in against Tomlinson. Coco wins that back to Siebert. Siebert up the wall. Semiolis across the line and in deep. Picked up by 18 Kirby. Back to the point. That's kept in. Coco on that puck. Big shot in the middle by Kirby is picked up by Wilson. First action for these Paris Titans this season. Tuning up for the weekend in Niagara Falls at the Gale Center. On the draw, that's 28. Christian wins it back to the wall, and that goes in deep, picked up by number 8 for the Sailors, Lucas Husted. He flips it to the point where that's kept in and put back in deep. Keaton General tries to get that out. That's blocked at the line. Back to Owen McLaren up the wall. To Husted again in deep. On the puck is Siebert. Siebert flips it into the middle. Chipped in deep by Ryan O'Keefe. Getting his first look as the Titan. Flipped back in deep by the Sailors to Duncan Dodd. He picks up the puck and up the wall. Little battle down low with Lucas Kootenay. Off the wall. Back up through the middle. Just out of the reach of Carlson. Brady Marr with the puck. Up the middle to Jeremiah Vigadia. Vigadia in deep, just wide of the net. Flipped back out of the Dover zone by Lucas Kootenay. Will Beatty on that inside the Titan zone. Up to Vigadia on the wall. Into the middle goes Vigadia. Cross ice for Brady Marr. Too far and we get icing. Fruglio in against Vigadia, wins it back clean, but that's picked up by Logan Carlson, flipped down the ice, icing waved off. On that is Owen McClure. McClure put into the wall there. 15, Simon Fruglio down through the middle. Into the offensive zone. He's met there by Braden Tyler, pinched off behind the Titans net. Back around to 77, Walt Kramer down low. Little battle in below there to Jay Metler. Metler on the wall. Back out to the Dover defenseman. That'll be Adam McCallop across the line and then deep into the Titan zone. Shot on net just wide. Here's Blake Kersey through the middle. Kersey with Metler. Metler. Nice save by Wilson. Stepping in the draw here, Coco taking on Santos. Little saw back by Santos into the Dover zone. Coco quickly onto that puck. Little check there by Kirby. Loosens the puck up to Semi Wallace, who addressed it just wide. Semi Wallace off the side of the net, and Wilson jumps on top of that one. A little skirmish in front of the net. So we'll line up and do it all again here. To the left of Max Wilson. Coco and Santos again. Coco will get escorted out. Semi Wallace steps in. We got Kirby on the wall. Semi Wallace wins that draw back. Siebert picks it up at the point. Dumps it back in low to Kirby. Kirby on that puck behind the Sailors net. Tries to get it in front to Semi Wallace. That's picked off. Flipped up to number 8. Lucas Homestead. He's unable to get it out past there. Santos picks it up behind the Sailors net and off the wall. Kirby keeps it in. Coco on the puck, stepping in onto that one. Just wide again, blocked by 18. Adam McCullough in behind the net is Santos. Santos back to McCullough again, and he ices the puck down into the Titan zone. We'll do it all over again. Austin Christian steps in here to take on Santos. He wins the draw to the wall over to 20. Josh Pizzi. Pizzi in low to Christian. Christian tips that back to O'Keefe. O'Keefe out in front of the net to Pizzi. Pizzi just out of reach. Quick shot on net. Wilson chips that one wide. Christian misses, fires, and out the zone it goes to Duncan Dodd. Duncan Dodd over to Will Beatty. Pick that up. Up to Josh Pizzi in deep. Christian picks that up off the Sailors defenseman. Pass in front is knocked down by McCallop again, and he's got possession of the puck in the Sailor zone. Over to 37, Keegan General, up the wall. Missed his man, just into the Titan zone. Duncan Dodd's back to retrieve that. Duncan Dodd up the wall. Finds Jeremiah Vagadia down low into the Sailor zone. After that, in pursuit is Brady Marr. Missed his check. Little chip up the wall to Nolan Kungle. Kungle cross ice, that's picked off by the Titans D. Cole Cassan, he flips that back out in the middle. After that is 21 for Dover. We don't have a name for him yet, but we'll find that shortly here. In pursuit. Cassan up the wall. Brady Marr's got that puck again. Around the Sailors D and in wide. Just inside the Sailors zone. Tries to flip that in front of the net. That's knocked down by the Sailors D. Ben Randall up the wall. Chipped out and picked up by Carter Tomlinson. Tomlinson across the zone into the Titans. He gives up the puck. Jack Bertrand picks that up and flips it into the Sailors zone. After that is Jay Metler. Metler picks up a loose puck off the wall and into the middle of the ice. Picked off again by the Sailors, but given up again right at the blue line. Kept in by the Titans. And then flipped out again by McCallop. And into the Titan zone he goes for a quick shot on net, and that's held by Paymont. Stepping into the draw here, we got Jack Bertrand and 13 for the Sailors. Pardon me, that looks like 17. 17 Lucas Kootenay. Down wide, Beatty's going to flip that out of the Titan zone. Back up to the Sailors defense. Retrieved by Kagan General. Back to Beatty. Beatty over to Dodd. Dodd looking for options. Back to Beatty. Beatty up to Kersey. Off the wall, Kersey back to Beatty. Beatty back, retreats into the Titan zone. Up to Duncan Dodd. Duncan Dodd finds Metler up the wing. Metler stepping in over the Sailor zone. Little drop pass to Jack Bertrand's out of reach, and that's picked up by Ryerson Kett for the Sailors. Kett finds Jackson. A little flip shot into Paymont, and he holds onto that for a faceoff. .13 to go here in the first period. Brant Sports Complex, Paris, Ontario. Exhibition game between the Port Dover Sailors and the Paris Titans. Semi Wallison on the draw there. Against Simon Ferruglio. Ferruglio wins that clean back to the point. Little flip shot is blocked. Titans exit the zone. Coco down the right side. Cut off by the Sailors D and put into the wall. Braden Tyler flips that in down low to Kagan General. Over to his partner. Back out in front and just wide is Semi Wallace on the shot driving the net. Sailors again in their zone here, D to D, working their up the far wall here. Little flip into the middle ice. That's picked up by Cohen Kirby and flipped back into the Sailor zone. In pursuit is Christian. Finishes his check on the Dover D. Down low, he's going to tie that up with Ben Randall. Puck comes loose to Pizzy. Pizzy, backside to O'Keefe. And we're going to have our first call of the night. Looks like number 6, Logan Doan. Didn't see a motion by the official. Looks like we got a 2 minutes for roughing coming up for Logan Doan. So the Titans on the kill for the first time this year. Christian wins the draw back. That's picked up by Dodd. Dodd flips it up the wall. Sailors D keep it in, and slow roller into Paymon. He holds on to that. Clean back to Duncan Dodd, and he fires that puck down the ice. Kill a few more seconds off the clock. Setting up behind the Dover net is Ben Randall. Randall up the middle. Looking at his options, he finds Tyler Santos. Santos in deep through Beatty, back to Dodd. Dodd picks that up behind the Titans net, rims it off the glass, and out. And recover again, Ben Randall for the Sailors. Off the wall, and that's picked up by Ryan O'Keefe. Down the far wall. O'Keefe into the middle of the ice, little shot, saved by Wilson. Puck is flipped out of the zone by the Sailors and retrieved by Siebert. Siebert fires that back down the ice on the kill. All good, setting up number 4, Ben Randall for the Sailors. Sailors misses his man there, Randall to Santos, that flips out into the neutral zone. Fired right back at him by Brady Siebert, and that's chipped back into the Port Dover zone. Off the glass and in deep is Vigadia. Vigadia on the kill in pursuit of number 5, Owen McClure. McClure picks it up and retreats behind the Sailors' net. Leaves that there for Adam McCallop. Back to McClure. McClure into the neutral zone, and a flipping down low by 17. Lucas Kootenay is recovered by Brady Siebert. He gets into a battle back there with Ferruglio. Ferruglio holding the puck against the wall. Chips it out loose. Jack Bertrand in pursuit. Back to the point. Over to the wall. Shot towards the net is blocked by the Titans D. Picked up by Logan Doan out of the box, and away they go. Back to full strength. Jack Bertrand in pursuit. Finishes the check on his man. Chipped by Carter Tomlinson out of the zone, and picked up by Blake Kersey. Kersey drops it back. Looking for Mettler. Mettler back on it. Kersey flips it in deep. Bertrand's there. He tries a backhand pass to Kersey, doesn't make it. Another shot by Duncan Dodd is swallowed up by Max Wilson for a stoppage in play. Draw deep down the Sailors' zone is won by the Sailors, and the Titans are quickly on them into pursuit. here on the near wall, and we'll have our second call of the game. Got a cross-checking call coming up to the Titans. It'll be Will Beatty at 9:03 of the first period. Taking a seat for 2 or less for cross-checking. Sammy Wallace steps in. He's got the draw. Wins it back to Braden Tyler. Tyler up the wall is blocked by the Sailors D. D to D, and a shot on net goes just wide on a block. In pursuit is Coco. Sammy Wallace stepping in, forcing the shot in deep. Back to pick that up and retrieve is Braden Tyler. Back up to the wall. Sammy Wallace in pursuit finishes his check. Nice little stick check. Coco through the middle. Can't beat the Sailors D. Sailors throw it in and delayed offside here. Duncan Dodd back to retrieve. Take a little time off the clock before firing the puck down the ice. Sammy Wallace in pursuit. Wilson sets that up behind the net. Up the wall to Tyler Matthews. Tyler Matthews through the middle. His dumping is blocked, and in pursuit is Logan Doan. Cole Kassan bodies into his man. Picked up by Ryan O'Keefe and shot down the ice. O'Keefe on that, picks off that pass from the Sailors D from behind the net. Steps inside, quick shot, nice and low. Wilson picks that up and shovels it to the defenseman. 18 McCallop, back through the middle of his ice. Finds his way inside the Titan zone. Cross-ice pass from Matthews to Santos, back down to McCallop. Up into the middle, O'Keefe picks that off. Picked up by Christian and fired down the ice. Wilson will set that up behind the Sailors' net. Stoppage and play low in the Sailor zone turns into another little scrum. Officials are on that. Warnings all around for the players. We'll set it up just to the left of Wilson. 10 seconds left to go in the Titans kill. 7:13 remaining in the first period. Stepping in on the draw, we have for the Titans, Brady Marr. Stepping in for the Sailors, with number 12. Gavin Lippett. Lippett in pursuit. Pushed off the puck there by Brady Marr, and in deep it goes in the Sailor zone. In pursuit is Lucas Halstead. He ties up his man. Josh Pizzi. Cole Kassan picks the puck in, flips that back into the Sailor zone. Titans back to full strength. Stepping up on that was Brady Tyler. Logan Carlson drops that back for Cole Kassan. Kassan up to Bertrand. He flips it in deep. Here's Logan Carlson on the puck. Shot just wide of the net. Braden Tyler back at the point over to Cole Kassan. Kassan into the middle. Another good low hard shot on the Sailors net is swept away by the Sailors D and blown dead by the officials. Draw there, Kersey and Ferruglio. Ferruglio wins that back to the Sailors D. Up the far wall and into the zone. Across the middle there was Siebert, missed his check. Down low, the Sailors on possession. Another finished check behind the net by Jay Metler. Here's Jack Bertrand, flips it in deep. Just past the Sailors D, held up on that zone entry. Behind the net is Metler. Metler finds Kersey. Kersey shot. Wilson the save. Puck in behind the Sailors net again. Metler's on that. Metler's got it on his feet. He's got 2 Sailors on him. Officials are asking him to move the puck. And they're going to blow that dead. Warnings all around by the officials. Move the puck will be the call. Joined in the booth tonight by our lovely assistant, Phil Mysano, working the video for us. Stats by Ashley McNaughton and music by the one and the only Julia Toll. Sammy Wallace in behind the Sailors' net, loses the puck in his feet, back on it again. Wins the battle for that puck up to Coco. Coco loses that in his feet again. Sammy Wallace back on it with Santos. Coco into the middle of the ice, trying to make the pass across, looking for Kirby. Kirby's on it behind the net now. He's into the battle, and away they go. Looks like we're going to have another call here. Not sure who this one's going to. Coco was on the puck. Looks like the Titans will be the recipient of their third minor of the evening. 5 minutes to go in the first period. We have number 18, Cohen Kirby, going to the box for 2 minutes or less. Draw was won by Santos back to the point, went D to D, and that was picked off by the Titans and thrown down the ice. Austin Christian in pursuit. Christian forces the back pass. Sailors behind the net. Stepping out again is Randall. Randall up the wall to Santos. Santos through the middle. Finds a lane, and around Dot he goes. Down low into the Titan zone. A little flip pass into the middle of the ice. Goes through the crease across the ice, and Christian flips that down the ice. In pursuit. For the Sailors is number 20, Nolan Kungle. Icing is the call. Icing has the call. The Titans have picked the left dot. Right side of Wilson. Stepping in will be Brady Marr. Marr versus Santos. Marr wins that clean back to the point. Logan Doan, quick shot on net, is picked up by Wilson and covered again for another faceoff. Marr steps in again against Carter Tomlinson. Tomlinson wins that back to the D. And the Sailors move it up the wall, near side. 18, McCallum through the middle. Gains the Titan zone, looking for options, sees none. Titans doing a good job of taking away from the ice. Carter Tomlinson steps in off the dot for a quick shot on Paymont. He smothers that for a whistle. In on the draw is Vigatti. He wins that over to his partner, Logan Carlson. Carlson down the ice, and Wilson sets that up behind the Sailors' net. In behind the Sailors' net. Up to Carter Tomlinson. He flips that into the Titan zone. In pursuit, Logan Doan picks that puck up. Tomlinson loses his stick. Vigatti picks it up and flips it back out of the Titan zone into the neutral zone. After that is Carlson. Had an opportunity to pick the puck up, just missed it. That's dumped in by the Sailors' D. Another flip by Siebert, finds its way to the blue line, not out of the Titan zone. Picked up by Tomlinson on the near side and across. He finds the Sailors' D, shot just over the net. Picked up again by Carlson. He flips it off the glass, and for sure this time it gets out. Vigatti in pursuit. Picked up in the middle by Will Beattie. Beattie flips that back towards the Sailors, picked up by Tomlinson, and it looks like a hand pass on the call. The draw will be down inside the Sailor zone. Fortunately for the Sailors, we're going to get this call just outside of the neutral zone by official Black. On the draw here, we got Jack Bertrand and 12 for the Sailors. Gavin Lippett, he wins that back to the Sailors D. They go D to D on the far side, and that's picked off by Jay Metler. Back to the point. Dodd keeps it in. Back around the Sailors net. And out the other side. Dodd back to pick the puck up. Bertrand pinches that off inside the Titan zone. Back after it. Flips it over to Dodd. Dodd up the wall on the backhand. Kersey in pursuit. Blake Kersey after Keegan General. General off the wall. Finds his man, Walt Kramer. He flips it back out. Dodd picks up the puck, moves it over to Cole Kassan. Kassan back into the middle, just off of Bertrand, and here come the Sailors. Ben Randall just inside the Titan zone, down low now. Cole Kassan in pursuit, lays the body. Jack Bertrand gives him a hand. Puck into the feet, back up in the middle, and that's picked up by Metler. Metler looking for options. He's got Kersey. Kersey into the middle, and Bertrand coming through the middle. Bertrand, quick shot saved by Wilson off to the side. Wilson will hold that loose puck off the Sailors D for a whistle. Sorry about that, folks. Just checking a couple of things here. The Titans are going to be going back to the penalty kill again for the fourth penalty of the first period. Just outside, 1 minute remaining. Picked up in the middle by Braden Tyler. We'll find out what we have in the gift box now. Another roughing call coming up to the Titans. This time it'll be Max Coco serving 2 or less for the Titans at 1:15 of the first period. Serving 2 or less as they step in for the draw. Christian wins the draw back. Inside the Titan zone, we got a couple Sailors in there. Christian joins the scrum. Puck comes loose, picked up by O'Keefe. That was Siebert in there working against 2 Sailors. They work the puck back down the ice again. Wilson looking for options. That's picked off by Christian on the far side into the corner. He's in the battle again against a couple Sailors. Santos up the middle into Tyler Matthews. Tyler Matthews fans on the puck, and Christian jumps on that, throws it down the ice again. In pursuit, Adam McCallop for the Sailors in behind the Sailors net, setting up 30 seconds to go in the first period. McCallop up the wall, finds Randall. Randall finds his man Santos in the middle, and he's cutting through the middle of the ice. Little cut back on the line, just in deep. Will Beattie on that, behind the Titans net. Puck comes loose into the middle. I'll come to Brady Siebert. Brady Siebert on that, and away it goes down the ice again. No call on the high stick on the puck, and into the Sailor zone go the Titans, and shot on net by Brady Marr is stopped by Max Wilson. Nice cross-ice pass there by Josh Pizzi, finding Marr in the crease. 1.4 on the clock, 47 the kill for the Titans. Final draw will be Vigadia versus Tomlinson. Vigadia wins that back and picked off quick by Lucas Husted. And that'll bring the first period to a conclusion. We have a 0-0 score, 45 seconds to kill for the Titans left to remain here after the first period, starting off the second period shorthanded. And we'll be back after this. Titans and the Port Dover Sailors. Titans moving right to left for the second period. Sailors in their bright pink, left to right. Draw one back by Ferruglio. Picked up by the Sailors D. In behind their net is McCallop. McCallop finds Santos. Santos streaking down the wall. In pursuit is Braden Tyler, and Santos puts that on net and beats Paymont through the 5-hole for a power play goal at 9:41 of the first period. Center ice draw finds Coco stepping in. Tomlinson wins that back to McCallop. Fires that in just off the wall and into Paymont. Paymont picks that up and smothers for a whistle. Coco and Tomlinson face off again. Coco wins that back to the Titans D, Duncan Dodd. Duncan Dodd picks that up again over to Beatty. Beatty into the wall. Finds his man Kungle. Kungle puts that back in deep to Dodd. Dodd in the Titan zone. Supported by Coco. Coco picks up the puck. Fights off his check. Up the wall to Semi Wallace and back to Beatty. Beatty over to Dodd. Up to Kirby. He flips it out into the middle, and after that is Coco. Here's Semi Wallace in pursuit. Knocks his man off the puck. Finds Kirby in the middle of the ice. Kirby tries to work around the D through his legs, and that's picked off by McCallop and swung across the wall. Over to Matthews. Matthews misses that. Picked up by Dodd. Shot just wide of the Sailors' net. Swung back around by the Sailors' D. Picked off by Dodd and flipped back into the zone. In pursuit is Christian and O'Keefe. O'Keefe picks up the puck. Loses that to McCallop. He flips up the winger and the Sailors ice the puck. Zone. It's fought off by the Sailors defense, flipped out into the middle. In pursuit is Siebert. Siebert picks that up, down low in his own zone, looking for options, didn't find any, swings it up the wall. That's picked off by the Sailors just inside the Titan zone. Out into the middle is Carlson. Carlson picks up the puck to Vigadia. Vigadia across his zone, has two men with him, loses that puck down low into the Sailors zone, retrieves his own puck back into the middle. Here's a shot from the point by Doan. That's blocked by Tomlinson. He picks up the puck and makes his way through the center. Flips the puck in low. In pursuit is Walt Kramer. Kramer in there against Doan. Doan swings it up the wall. Brady Marr in the battle. Back down low again. Logan Doan steps into his man. Siebert flips that puck up the middle and over to Brady Marr. Brady Marr inside the Sailor zone, just off the post and into the netting. Set up here for the face-off inside the Sailor zone is Jack Bertrand. Sits in there against number 12, Gavin Lippett. Flip back into the Sailor zone. After that is 37, Keegan General. Up on the wing, and that's kept in by Jack Bertrand. Slung back into the Sailor zone. Picked up by the Sailors D behind the net. That's number 21, Josh Hall. Hall in behind his own net, battling Kersey off. Kersey and Hall in the corner. Metler picks that puck up. Back to Kersey. He lets that go to Tyler. Tyler at the point. Over to Cole Kassan. Kassan steps to the middle of the ice. Little shot on net. Finds Jay Metler in front. He flips that into Max Wilson. He smothers that for a whistle. Well, no shortage of action here tonight. Lots of bodies flying. Players are playing tough here in the exhibition season, trying to earn a spot with their local junior team. A lot of familiar faces on the ice tonight, both teams. On the draw, that's Ferruglio. Facing off against Semi Wallace. Ferruglio wins that back, and in pursuit is the Titans. Semi Wallace cuts that off up to Dodd. Dodd chipped that back in. Dodd on it again. Finds Semi Wallace going to the net. He chips that just wide. Kirby on it on the far side. Back to the point to Beatty. Beatty looking for Kirby again off the wall. That's cut off by the Sailors. Ferruglio. Ferruglio picks it up in the neutral zone. Flips it in the zone. Ferruglio will be met there by Beatty. Chips it out. Just past Coco. Coco again in pursuit with Semi Wallace. Off the far wall, that's picked up by Kirby. Kirby looking inside the Sailors zone. Just inside the wall. Coco picks that up off the wall, off the Sailors D, and flipped back out to the center. On the puck is Doan. Finds Dodd. Dodd trying to work it out off the wall. Picked off by the Sailors. That's picked up by Semi Wallace inside the Titan zone. He flips it out the middle. Here goes Coco. Coco across the Sailors line. Cuts in the middle. Quick shot, and that's picked up by Wilson. Frozen for the face-off. On the draw, we got Christian and Santos. Christian wins that back. Off of O'Keefe to the point. Little tip in front by Christian. Wilson's on that. Rebound still off to the side. And away we go. Quick shot by Doan was tipped into the net there. And back out to center is Siebert. Siebert picks that up and flips it back inside the Sailor zone. Picking that up is Kagan General. He tries to get that out. That's picked off by Doan again at the line. Here's Pizzi. Pizzi in deep looking for Vigadia. Vigadia's on that. Broken stick still on the ice from a little chop there in front of the net with the Sailors. Flip down the Titan zone. Siebert's on that behind his own net. Here comes Pizzi. Siebert still on it, looking for options, finds his man down the ice. Here's O'Keefe, chipping the puck in deep. Over the boards come some fresh legs for the Titans. Up the wall, number 8. Lucas Husted. Across the ice. Vigadia stepping into his man, Josh Hall. Hall back into his own zone. Sailors a little bit of trouble in their own end here. Vigadia steps in, quick shot. Ooh, that's off the crossbar. Vigadia thinks he's got that in. Referee says, no, sir. Quick shot again by Carlson, goes over the net. Far side, picked up by Tyler. Behind the net, Brady Marr loses the battle, and up the wall it goes to Santos across center. Stick check, picked up by Brady Marr. Brady Marr back out. Working his way through the Titan zone is picked off by Tyler Matthews. Flips it down into the Titan zone. In pursuit by Braden Tyler. Puck flipped to the line once again. Is picked off by Brady Marr and flipped back out in the neutral zone. Sailors defense on it. Finds Tomlinson on the far side. Tomlinson fires into the Titan zone. In pursuit, Cole Kassan takes his man out. Kassan pokes that puck away from the Sailor and flips it up into the netting for a stoppage and play. Face-off down low here in the Titan zone. .24 remaining here in the second period. Steady pace of action. Lots of body contact. Entertaining game for the exhibition season. On the draw was Tomlinson and Bertrand. Tomlinson sawed that off to the wall, picked up by the Sailors. Sailors in possession just outside the Titan zone. Here comes Metler down the wing. Metler pushes the puck inside the Sailor zone and is in pursuit again. On possession of the puck behind the Sailors net, looking for his man. Back to the point to Beatty. Beatty, quick shot on net, and Wilson will smother that. Face off coming here to the left of Max Wilson. Stepping in on the draw, we have Gavin Lippett and Jack Bertrand for the Titans. Bertrand jumps in early and is swept away. Beatty, shot from the point, picked up by Wilson. Rebound sitting in the crease, was just missed by the Titans forward sweeping through. Sailors find their way out of the zone. There's Bertrand on it again in the neutral zone. He flips it up to Blake Kersey. Blake Kersey across the line, back to Bertrand, that's out. In the neutral zone, Bertrand, one-on-one battle there. Puck bumps back to Duncan Dodd. He flips it inside the Sailor zone. In pursuit is Blake Kersey. Kersey's on the puck. He flips that out to Mettler. Mettler misses that puck. Will Beatty steps in trying to go after that. Duncan Dodd on the puck, sweeps it back in down low to Kersey. Kersey down below the goal line inside the Sailor zone. Across the wall, Coco picks that up at the blue line, flips it back in low to Kersey. In behind the net is Jay Mettler. That's poked away from Mettler by Randall and up the wall. Lucas Kootenay to the wall is picked up by Semi Wallace. That puck back to Brady Siebert. Siebert looking over his options. That's picked off in the neutral zone. Logan Doan steps up and is cruising through the middle with Max Coco. Coco shoots into the chest of Wilson, and we'll get another stoppage in play. Stepping in on the draw here, we have Christian with Ferruglio. Ferruglio for the Sailors. Swept back to his D-man, McCallop, around the wall to Siebert. Siebert flips that puck back in. On it again was Pizzi. Siebert steps up and puts his man down on the ice. Puck flipped down behind the Titans net. In behind that is Walt Kramer. He flips that out in the middle to nobody. Christian picks that up and is looking for O'Keefe. He'll swing that all the way down the ice. Icing waved off by the linesman. Christian's in pursuit. Looking again for O'Keefe. Right into the middle. O'Keefe just misses that one through the crease. Another shot coming. That one from Cole Kassan. Blockered away by Max Wilson. And down the ice. In pursuit, Braden Tyler picks that puck up and down around the Titans net. Tyler up over the blue line in the neutral zone. Finds Pizzi. Pizzi sweeps that in down low. Sailor runs into O'Keefe on the way to the bench. And probably not the right guy to run into there. Tyler Matthews misses that puck inside the Titan zone. The Sailors have 6 on the ice. No call again from the officials. Kassan to his partner, Tyler. Back to Kassan. Tomlinson picks that puck up off Kassan. Up the wall comes Vigadia. He's looking for his man. He finds Brady Marr. Brady Marr flips that up the wall looking for Carlson and just doesn't make it through. Back behind the net is Kassan. He flips the puck back on a reverse to Brady Marr. Duncan Dodd on that puck. Flips that to the line and not out. Dodd back on it with Kassan behind the Titans net. Vigadia over to Carlson. Carlson looking for Vigadia. He sweeps that out. Up to the line and not out. Kept in by the Sailors D. Duncan Dodd on the play. That puck will be picked up by Paymont inside the crease at 9:41 of the second period. And we'll see a change in goaltending for the Titans coming in with Cole Stevens. Number 31 for the Titans tonight. Making his debut. Blake Kersey steps in on the draw with Tyler Santos. Kersey wins that back. Swept along by the Titans defense. Dodd gets into a battle there with a Sailor in the corner. That's picked up by Mettler. Mettler across the ice looking for Bertrand. Bertrand is after his man. Puck does not make the goal line, and icing is the call by the linesman. Santos will step in again against Kersey inside the Titan zone on the icing call. Kersey wins that back. Will Beatty mishandles that puck behind the Titans net. That's picked up by 10 for the Sailors, Jackson Haywood. He loses the puck to Beatty. Beatty over to Dodd. Dodd up the wall. That's picked off by Ben Randall for the Sailors. He has a shot just wide of the net. Puck up to the wall, up to the line. That's kept in, and Duncan Dodd flips it out of play. Max Wilson, quick shot on the 2-on-1. 8:50. We got Blake Kersey on the board for the Titans. It's a 1-1 hockey game. On the draw, we got Coco facing off against Gavin Lippett. Coco wins the draw back. Puck goes across the wall and into the Sailor zone. Sailor quick D to D and back out of the zone. And in pursuit, we have Coco and Sammy Wallace. 2-on-1 going the other way. The game's opening up a little bit now for the Sailors. And high shot by Gavin Lippett. It's picked up by the Titans here. Kirby out to Sammy Wallace. Sammy Wallace flips that puck inside the Sailor zone. Logan Doan picking up the slack there, flipping it in low. Sammy Wallace into the body. Got a couple skates holding that puck against the wall. Christian battling in there with Sammy Wallace. Puck comes loose. Sailors D flip it up. Kassan picks that puck up off the line. He steps inside the zone. Pizzi misses that in the middle, just wide. Another shot from the point is Tyler. Puck flipped up and off the glass and out. Kassan, this side of the red line for the Titans. Back to Tyler. Tyler to O'Keefe. O'Keefe looking for his man in the middle, just too far ahead. Off the wall and down the ice again. Kassan back in his own zone. Over to Tyler. Tyler looking for his man. Finds Kassan. Kassan stepping up into the neutral zone across the red. He'll put it in deep. Pizzi in pursuit. Gives his man a shove. Sailors make the pass up the wall. Looking for Kramer. Kramer flips the puck into the Titan zone. Beatty into Ferruglio behind the Titans net. Block shot by Pizzi. Beatty steps up. Stevens steps out and makes a nice save on that quick shot in the middle of the zone. Stevens will hold on that for a face-off inside the Titan zone here. 6:54 remaining in the second period. A 1-1 hockey game here at the Brand Sports Complex in Paris. On the draw, Vagadia steps in against Ferruglio. Ferruglio wins that back clean for a shot from the point off of Stevens into the corner. Ferruglio wins the puck battle on the far wall, flips that in past Siebert. Vagadia works that up the Titans wall, just to the line, and flip back to Siebert. Siebert across the red line, soft chip in, looking for icing here from the linesman. Icing is the call. Back in the Titan zone will go. Puck dropped to the left of Cole Stevens inside the Titan zone. We have Vagadia stepping in against Carter Tomlinson. Vagadia saws that puck off to the wall, picked up by Logan Doan. He flips it in the middle, bounces off a Titan, back to the wall. Out across center comes Brady Marr. Brady Marr, little quick stick check there by the Sailors D. Vigadia over after Matthews. Matthews puts the puck into the wall, hangs on to that. Callison tries to flip the puck past his man. Sailor picks it off all the way back to Braden Tyler. Tyler finds Doan. Doan back to Tyler. Tyler finds Bertrand in the middle. Bertrand up the ice, looks for Callison. Little stick check on Callison, finds the puck across the Sailor zone. McCallum swings the puck up to Tomlinson at the red line. He chips the puck in deep. Kersey on the far side, flips it back to Tyler. Tyler mishandles that in the corner. There's Bertrand. Bertrand looking for Kersey on the far side, can't find him. A few bodies in the middle there. Bertrand flips it in deep. Bertrand steps into his man inside the Sailor zone. Sailors cough up the puck, right in the middle. Metler looking for Kersey. Kersey mishandles, it goes into the corner, back up to the point. Kersey up to Kassan. Kassan steps in low. Kassan swings it around the net, looking for Metler. He's on it. Metler picks it up, back to Tyler. Tyler sweeps the puck into the net, and Wilson jumps on that, freezes the puck. Won by the Titans, puck in deep. After that is Coco. Coco looking for Semi Wallace going to the net, just out of reach. Kirby in there. Puck gets swept off of Beatty. Down the wall goes Gavin Lippett, shot just wide. Shot from the point from 17. Lucas Kootenay is picked up by Cole Stevens and held on for the whistle. Face-off coming up inside the Titan zone. Christian stepping in here against Ferruglio. Sawed off to the wall again. Doan pokes that ahead. Kept in by the Sailors D. Over to Siebert. Siebert flips that out to the middle. Here's Ryan O'Keefe on the puck. He sweeps that back for Pizzi. Pizzi just out of reach. Back inside the zone comes Ferruglio. Works it down low inside the Titan zone. Christian on it. Finds O'Keefe. O'Keefe back in the Titan zone looking for his man. He finds Pizzi on the far side. That's off the wall and down to Wilson. Wilson will hold on to that for the whistle inside the Sailor zone. Sailors find their way down inside the Titan zone. Picking up that puck is Cole Kassan behind the Titans net. Setting up. Looking for some options. Sailors player, as he goes behind the net, knocks the net off the mooring, and we'll have a face-off outside the Titan zone. Face-off will be just outside the Titan zone. Here we have Jack Bertrand stepping in, take the face-off against Carter Tomlinson. Tomlinson picks that puck off over to his winger. Haywood steps in, just drifts that puck just wide of the net. Here's Blake Kersey, flips it past the D, and away he goes. We're looking at a one-on-one here. Kersey inside the zone. Sweeps the puck back to the middle. That's picked off by the Sailors D. Metler overskates that. Down the wall again comes Sailors. Ryerson Ketch flips one on net, and that'll be picked up by Cole Stevens. Face-off coming to the left of Stevens inside the Titan zone. Face-off, Coco and Lippitt. Coco wins that clean back. Dodd up the wall is kept in by the Sailors D. Down low again, stepping inside was the Sailors D. That puck swings through the middle of the zone. The Titans Kirby flips that back off his skate. Over to Semi Wallace. Semi Wallace inside the zone, looking back again for Kirby. That's knocked down by the Sailors D and in behind their net. Semi Wallace back up the half wall. Out in front to Kirby. Kirby swings on that, just fans on the puck, goes wide. Picked up by the Sailors D behind the goal. Back out in the middle, Kirby on it. Semi Wallace picks it up at the point, flings that on net, and picked up by Wilson. He'll hold on and get a whistle inside the Sailors zone. Christian stepping in here against Santos. Santos swings that back. Sailors D, D to D, behind the net, up the wall, and out of the Sailors zone into the middle of the ice. Santos back on it again. It's met there by Pizzi. Pizzi takes some body. Brady Sievert flips it up the wall, kept in by the Sailors D. O'Keefe on it again, flips it up through the middle, and out after that is Pizzi. Pizzi's going to win that race. Brings it in wide. Logan Doan chips that back in deep. Here comes Vigadia. Vigadia off the bench. Into his man behind the net. Flips that out. It's out front to Pizzi. Pizzi takes a little bit of body there. And Vigadia back on it again. Swings it back at Wilson. Pizzi into his man. Vigadia on the puck. Doan steps in. Misses that. And out to the middle it goes. Neutral zone by Brady Marr. Collected there. Swung back to Doan. Doan up to Vigadia. Vigadia looking for a man. Steps into the middle of the Sailor zone. Vigadia, quick shot, goes just wide of the net. Off the end wall. Back up to the hash marks, where it's picked up by Carlson. Carlson steps into that. Flips it into the middle. Just out of the reach of Brady Marr, and the Sailors are away. Matthews across the red line. Deep into the Titan zone. Cole Stevens back to play the puck behind his own net. Up to Kassan. Kassan takes a body from Tyler Matthews, and back in behind the Titans net is Jack Bertrand. Bertrand flips it up to Carlson. He flips it into the Sailor zone and in pursuit. Out in front to Bertrand, picked off by the Sailors and flipped out again down the ice into the Titan zone. This is not going to have enough for icing. Kassan's on that with 35 to go in the second period. Kassan behind his own net. Matthews after him. Over to Tyler. Tyler up to Mettler. Mettler into the middle to Carlson. Mettler steals that off the Sailors D. He's inside the Sailors zone. 10 to go on the clock. Oh, he fans on the puck just at the net. And off to the side it goes. Out of danger. Tyler Matthews picks it up off the glass. Back to the point. Duncan Dodd, quick shot. That is also picked off by Matthews. And after 2 periods of play, we have a 1-1 hockey game going into the third period. Paris, Ontario. Tonight's exhibition matchup between the Paris Titans and the Port Dover Sailors. Got a 1-1 tie here going on. Start the third period. No penalties on the board. 5-on-5 hockey will get us started here. Bertrand steps in against Santos. Puck lays on the dot. Santos wins that back to the Sailors D. Gets the red line and up to the Titans blue line. He flips that in. Tyler to Kassan. Kassan up to Mettler. Mettler battles it out with Santos down to the end wall, and that's icing on the call. Kersey steps in against Santos in the Titan zone. Kersey slings it back to Tyler. Tyler around the wall to Mettler. That gets out of the zone and all the way down in the Sailor zone again. We'll do it all over again. Port Dover Sailors are coached by Kevin Mickett, longtime coach in junior hockey. Spent some time in Glanbrook. Made a couple good runs there. Titans this year are coached by Dave Ferris, returning back to the league after a extended hiatus through minor hockey and AAA. Looking forward to seeing what Dave can do with the boys this year. Puck is kept inside the Titan zone, down below the goal line. Bertrand battling it out with a Sailor forward there. Sailors working up the wall. Picked up there by Ben Randall. That's blocked. Kersey down into the Sailor zone, into the middle. Mettler just drifts that wide. Back out of the zone come the Sailors. Tomlinson picks that up, flips it in low. Kirby. Siebert finishes his check. Putting Kungle down into the ice. Here goes Coco. Coco up the wall. Puck's pinched off him, back into the Sailor zone. Delayed offside. Here come the Titans. Semi Wallace inside the zone. Coco throws that back to Doan. Doan over to Siebert. Siebert in his own zone. Picked up by Lucas Kootenay. Kootenay down in across the Titan zone and back outside the zone. Flips it back to Gavin Lippett. Lippett back to the Sailors D. Owen McClure. McClure up the wall is picked off by O'Keefe. O'Keefe steps through his man and into the middle of the Sailors zone. Little ping pong across the blue line there. O'Keefe picks it up and steps inside the zone again. Quick shot by O'Keefe. It's picked up by Max Wilson. And we'll get our first look at the Titans power play here. Arm is up and a hooking call against the Sailors. Titans power play finds Kersey. He shoots that stick side low and slides it home on Wilson. So a power play goal by Blake Kersey there by the Titans. 17:08 of the third period. Nice little high zone play there by Tyler and Kazan to find Kersey stepping through the middle for the quick shot. Puts the Titans ahead. Find ourselves inside the Sailors zone. Here's Carlson. Carlson to Coco. Coco off the wall. Just off the post. In behind Wilson again. Brady Marr. Marr on the puck over to Carlson. Back to the point finds Siebert. Siebert mishandles the puck and outside the zone it goes. After that puck is Kagan General. General loses the puck to Beatty inside the Titan zone, up the wall. Coco steps into his man. Beatty swings that around, looking for Carlson. Gavin Lippett swings it over the net and picked up by Kirby. Kirby stick checked here inside the Titan zone, back inside. Picked up by Siebert. Siebert off of Kirby. Kirby up to the line, finds Semi-Wallace. Semi-Wallace back to Kirby, and that puck is deflected off the Sailors D and up into the netting. We'll have a face-off down low inside the Sailors zone. Entertaining little hockey game for some rookies out there tonight. Physical, lots of shots. Everybody doing a pretty good job here, putting on a good show for everybody. Wednesday night in Paris. Christian steps in on the draw against Lippett. Lippett wins that back to the Sailors D, slings it across. Got a wall battle here. Christian jumps in there. O'Keefe's in the middle of the ice. Christian pulls that puck out of the pile, and then behind the net it goes. In pursuit again, Lippett slings that back to the Sailors D. Beatty misses it. Picked up by Pizzi. Pizzi back to Dodd. Dodd turns back inside the Titan zone on his backhand. Finds Pizzi up at the red line. Pizzi chips it over, and the Sailors throw it back. Dodd picks it up. Over to Tyler. Tyler back up to O'Keefe. O'Keefe chops that off into the wall, and Tyler retrieves. Just inside the Titan zone, he finds the middle of the ice. Tyler up through the middle. Picked up again by Santos. Santos gives way to Pizzi. Pizzi slings the puck in deep. Holkersan chips that off, and Mettler's on that. Quick shot on net. Wilson smothers that puck and holds for a whistle. 14:19 left here in the third period. 2-1 Titans. Face off just inside the Sailors zone next to the right of Wilson. Kersey wins the puck back to Kassan. Kassan over to Tyler. From behind the net, Mettler looking for Kersey going through the middle of the ice. That's just over his stick. Back inside the Sailors zone. Picked up by Randall. Randall slings it over to Mettler. Mettler back in. That's Matthews here on the near wall for the Sailors. After the puck is Kassan. Kassan against Santos. Santos picks up the puck, has a quick shot on net. Stevens steers that to the middle of the ice for another stoppage in play. 3:49 remaining in the third. Santos, a speedy little centerman. U18. Brantford 99ers last year. Has the goal for the Sailors. And of course here for the Titans, a wily veteran, Blake Kersey. Putting a couple in behind the Sailors goaltenders tonight, giving us a 2-1 lead. Power play marker here early in the third. And as it always does in the exhibition season, things getting a little chippy here as the pucks go to the net. Face off again inside the Titan zone, finds Kersey against Lippett. Puck sawed off the wall, Sailors D jump in on top of that. Got Carlson, pulls that off the wall, picked off by the Sailors, back to the middle of the ice and behind the net, Carlson again. Carlson in the battle there with Husted. Puck back to Kersey. He's going to flip that up just outside of the zone and picked up by Brady Marr just inside the Sailors zone, working his way down low. Puck in behind the Sailors net and up the far wall. That's cut off by Vigadia. He flips that back inside the Sailors zone. Brady Marr in pursuit of the Sailors D, puts the body into that, puts him into the wall. A little shot to the head there for Vigadia for good measure. Play continues on. Down the ice goes Lippett. Lippett with a man coming. Has a quick shot in. Stevens stands up on that, steers it away. Beatty into the corner, followed by Carlson, and the puck is slung down the ice by Vigadia. Icing waved off, no man at the point. Picked up inside the Sailor zone by Ryerson Kett. He flips it up the ice. He finds Ferruglio. Ferruglio chips it inside the Titan zone. That's picked off and sent up the ice by Tyler. Couple guys having some fun here. That's Cohen Kirby mixing it up with play here. Number 14 for the Sailors going to the box. Just waiting for the call here in the box. Ryerson Kett. Kassan to Tyler. Tyler in the middle of the ice. Finds Coco on the far side. Coco picks up the puck, cuts back. Up to Tyler. Tyler in the middle of the ice again, stepping in down low inside the Sailors zone. He's got Kassan shifting off, and into the net goes Kirby. We have a whistle to stop the play. Face-off comes back to the point. Titans on that again. So we got Ryerson Kett for roughing at 13:30 of the third period. Minute and a half left to go in the penalty. Titans on the power play. That's Siebert across the red line. He dishes off to Kersey. Kersey steps inside. Quick shot is blocked by the D. He loses the stick. Siebert's on it again. Flips it in down low. Logan Doan on that. Doan flips it low. That's picked up by the Sailors D. McClure and fired down the ice. Cole Stevens is on that again. Cole Stevens leaves it for Siebert. Siebert looking up ice. Finds Pizzi off Pizzi's feet inside the Sailor zone. After that was Ryan O'Keefe. Ryan O'Keefe swings it across. Dodd. Dodd back down to Christian. Christian back up to Dodd. Dodd makes his way into the Sailor zone. Over to Beatty. Beatty, Pizzi, back over to Dodd. Dodd looking for a quick shot off the wall, and away it goes. Back to even strength. Pizzi through the middle. Out of the Titan zone, all the way down the ice. Dishes to O'Keefe. O'Keefe steps in. Quick shot off the Sailors D. Back down low. O'Keefe back into it again. Out in front. Quick shot. Rebound. Christian's on that in the crease, and that's covered up by the Sailors defense, and that pops loose. Should be a penalty shot, but I'm guessing we're not going to get that call tonight either. Nope, I'm getting shaken off here by Mr. Toll. I don't know. We zoom in on that one, Phil. I think we're going to see a defenseman covering the puck in the crease, but hey, my first time watching hockey too. Vigadia stepping in here against Santos. Puck won back by Vigadia. Picked up by Tyler. Tyler slings it into the Sailor zone. Callison was after that. Tyler steps through his man. Kassan back to retrieve. Kassan back behind the Titans net. Swings over here to the near side. Up to Callison. Callison chips the puck out of the zone. After that is Vigadia. Vigadia, one hand on his stick, pokes it into the Sailor zone. That's fired away by the Sailors defense. Back up to Santos. Santos in the middle of the ice, flips it back into the Titan zone. Back to retrieve is Tyler. Tyler assessing the situation, looking for a man in the neutral zone. Skates it himself, gets the red, and fires it deep into the Sailor zone. Brady Marr after Matthews in the Sailors' end. Finishes his check. Picked up by Doan at the point. Quick shot. It's tipped in the middle, and that's scooped up by Wilson. 9:12 remaining here in the third period. Titans 2. Sailors 1. Coco steps in against Lippett. Lippett saws it off to his D-man McClure. He rims it off the glass up into the netting, and we'll do it all again. Semi-Wallace steps in to take the draw this time with Lippett. Semi-Wallace steps through. Lippett just behind Lippett. He turns around, picks up the puck, and out of the zone he goes, gets the red line, and slings it into the Titan zone. After that is Ferruglio down the far side. Picked up by Coco. Coco has a man in the middle. That's Kirby. Kirby back to Coco. Over to Kirby again. Kirby gets tied up in his own feet, and the puck goes wide. Sammy Wallace finishes his check. Solid hit in the corner by Sammy Wallace. Puts Kagan General into the wall, and back in the Titan zone is retrieved by Siebert. He finds a man. That's chipped in low on the Sailors. Back after that again is McClure. McClure to General. That's forced back in by Bertrand. Sailors D. Over to Ferruglio. He puts it off the wall. Kersey across the line to Dodd. He steps in. Quick shot just wide of the top of the net. Here's General working his way out of the Sailor zone. He finds his man at center ice, Kungal. Kungal chips that into the Titan zone off of Stevens. Stevens knocks the net off, and the whistle has gone for a face-off. Some more action there by the Titans in the offensive zone. Lots of good physical play, which is nice to see. Guys trying to make a team here in the exhibition season, putting on a good show for the coaches, making those decisions harder and harder as the days tick on. Titans draw is won by Christian. That goes back to Dodd. Dodd behind the net to Beatty and up the wall. It's cut off by the Sailors, then picked up again by Christian. Christian finds O'Keefe inside the zone. Puck flips up over his stick. Ferruglio picks that puck up, and away they go. Back inside the Titan zone. That's cut off by Tyler. Tyler finds his man, Pizzi, chips that back to the Sailors D, and they go D to D. Far side, near side, back across the ice, inside the Titan zone. No icing on the call. And we have Cole Kassan making his way out of the Titan zone across the red line. He finds a man and fires it in deep. Vigadia. Little pick play into Wilson is Ryan O'Keefe. Quick shot off the wall, and that's picked up by Wilson for a whistle. Stepping in here, Vigadia and Santos. Santos wins that draw back to his D. Sailors D up the wall to Doan. Doan fires that to the net, blocked in front. It's McCallum. Over to the wall, he finds Vigadia. Vigadia takes a little body and the puck goes down. Inside that is Carlson. Carlson spins off his man into the corner, going to the net. Looking for Brady Marr out front. Carlson back to the point, finds Doan. Doan, quick shot, just wide of the net. Here comes Siebert. Tyler Matthews on the squeeze play, pokes the puck out. Carlson over to Doan. Doan inside the zone. Coco back behind his own net, retrieves that puck off the Sailors D, and away he goes. Up the wall, picking up speed. Coco into second gear across the blue line, and he's tripped at the blue line. We'll have another Titans power play. Jackson Haywood takes down Coco at the offensive blue line. And we'll get to see that explosive Paris Titans power play as Kersey, first one over the wall. He's getting into the play right away. Right here on the draw, we're going to see Kersey sliding up there. He's going to go against Lippitt. He's setting up the D there. Kassan and Tyler once again on the point. We're going to see the Titans power play go to work again. Haywood off for tripping. That's 6:07. Quick shot on the play there. Metler finds the net. Smothered by Wilson. Ticks off 9 seconds. Over to Kassan, back to Kersey, steps in, and the glove save made by Wilson. Clicks off a couple more seconds. 2 good opportunities at the net there for the Titans so far on this power play. Bertrand on the wall. Takes that from Kersey. Kersey steps in on the puck. He's stepping to the middle again. Another quick sweeping shot going to the net. Off the pad of Wilson. Kassan back to Tyler. Tyler. Kassan. Kassan. Kersey. Kersey into the glove of Wilson again. Another quality opportunity by the Titans. Kersey in on the draw again with Lippitt. That's kept in by Kassan at the line. Kassan banks it down to Metler. Metler in the corner. Finds Bertrand off the foot of the Sailors D-man and out of play. In on the draw. In pursuit was Semi Wallace. Semi Wallace swings that down low to Christian up to the point. Tyler keeps the puck in. In the battle is Kirby. Kirby's got a couple of Sailors there with him. Semi Wallace in the corner finishes his check. That swings across to Kassan. Christian back at the point, picks it up. Finds Kassan. Kassan looks across ice. Nothing doing. That's picked off by the Sailors, and down the ice it goes by Kungol. Back to Cole Stevens. Cole Stevens behind the Titans net. Duncan Dodd retrieves from Tyler on a change. We've got 30 seconds left here on the Titans power play. Doan picks that puck up, works his way out of the Titan zone, flips it back to Duncan Dodd up to Vigadia. Vigadia inside the Sailor zone. Taken down, puck back to Dodd, flipped out by the Sailors. Semiolis drops that. Here comes O'Keefe. O'Keefe building speed through the middle of the ice. Quick shot, rebound. Another save by Wilson. 2 saves on that play. Nice little drive by O'Keefe as the Sailors are returned to full strength. Drive by Lippett against Vigadia. Flipped over, and out of the zone goes Kootenay down the wing, and nice hard shot by Kootenay there on Stevens inside the Titans zone. Picked up by Stevens and held for the whistle. Titans will be back in action Friday night at Niagara Falls at the Gale Center. 3-game exhibition package this weekend. Little round robin tournament for some local talent down in the Niagara way. Down inside the Sailors zone. Titans find the puck. It's Josh Pizzi down low looking for Coco. Over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe picks that up, slings it over to the far side to Coco. Coco lets that go back to Pizzi. Pizzi gets stepped into by a Sailors D-man. In front of the net, we have Logan Doan taken down. The Titans are going back to the power play. Braden Tyler retrieves the puck. Looking up the ice, he has Cohen Kirby join him. Tyler inside the zone, back to Kirby, or Coco, over to Kirby, to Coco. Coco loses that puck in his feet, and into the corner it goes. We'll have our 4th power play tonight for the Titans, as things even up quite nicely. Got number 4, Ben Randall, going to the box on a cross-checking call by official Black. So we'll see the Titans power play again. Started off by Kersey. Kersey back to Tyler. Tyler over to Kassan. Quick shot on net is blockered away by Wilson to the corner. Got a hand pass in the corner from the Titans. Into the Sailors zone. That's knocked away and picked up by Mettler. Mettler back across his own line. Over to Tyler. Tyler looking for an option. Couldn't find one. Picks up the puck again off the Sailor. Mettler down the wing. Up ahead for Kersey. Kersey had his back turned. Puck gets inside the zone. Puck back up to Tyler here at the top of the zone. Over to Kersey. Kersey steps in the middle. Another quick shot into the glove of Wilson. And he'll hold on for the whistle. 1:20 left on the power play for the Titans. 2:25 left in the 3rd period. Stepping on the draw here is Kirby. He's got Semiolis and O'Keefe with Dodd and Doan on the point. Kirby wins the draw to the wall to O'Keefe. O'Keefe back to Dodd. Over to O'Keefe. O'Keefe steps into the middle. Finds Kirby. Kirby slings it back. Nobody there. Semiolis just out of reach. Semiolis all the way back, finishes his check and puts the Sailor on the ground. That's Lucas Husted. Husted takes a run at Doan and falls down again. Semiolis down across the offensive zone inside the Sailor zone. Semiolis back to O'Keefe. O'Keefe back. Finds Kirby in front, and they score on the power play. Recipients of some hard work down low in the defensive zone, the Titans score again on the power play. On the power play, we have Kirby from Semi Wollis and O'Keefe. Not going to get tired of saying that this year, folks. 3 nice young players. O'Keefe returning back from a stint with the Caledonia Corvairs to be a big part of this Titans organization and lead us through the next 2 years. Looking forward to seeing him play. Cohen Kirby with a beauty in front of the net, tips it through the legs of Max Wilson. That makes it 3-1. Puck out of the Titan zone. Flipped back in by the Sailors D. Retrieved by Siebert up to Beatty. Beatty cross ice for Coco. Couldn't find him. Picked off by the Sailors D again. General takes it inside the Titan zone. That's flipped back out by Siebert. Down in the Sailors zone. After that is Vagadia. And they're battling for the puck is Carlson. Carlson gives way to Vagadia. Back after it again. He falls down in the corner. That's picked up by Ferruglio. Ferruglio working that behind the Sailors net. Loses the puck to Coco. Coco up the wall. He's met by 2 Sailors there. And we have a whistle. 11.5 on the clock. As they clean up the wreckage over there on the far wall next to the Port Dover bench. Make way for a face-off. 11.5 left on the clock here. Third period. Titans 3, Sailors 1. Couple power play goals for the Titans tonight by Kersey and Kirby. Kersey picked up the first one in the second period. And the lone Sailors goal to start us off was scored by Tyler Santos. Local Simcoe kid. And that'll do it. Once again, a little bit of wreckage in front of the Port Dover net. Linesmen are in there, separating that out. Max Wilson smothered the puck. Well fought game by both sides, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks very much